The final PFL World Tournament event of 2025 is in the books, and there are now 3 more new champions in the Professional Fighters League. In the middleweight division, Fabian Edwards is the new king. In the heavyweight division, Oleg Popov got the victory over Alexandr Romanov, and in the light heavyweight division, shoeface Antonio Carlos Jr. won his second PFL title. He was an OG champion, and now he's the new tournament-style champion. In the main event, Fabian Edwards got the third-round head kick heard round the world knockout over Dalton Rosta. So the biggest takeaway from this main event, don't get in the way of an Edwards brother and their left high kick.
Dalton Rosta. He's out. He is out.
Because in nearly identical fashion, Fabian Edwards landed that left high kick that would knock Dalton Rosta out cold, and it was eerily similar to nearly 3 years ago on the day to when Leon Rocky Edwards defeated Kamaru Usman to become the UFC welterweight champion. Fabian, at just 32 years old in his prime, is now 16-4, having finished 9 of his victories and has won 4 of his last 5 bouts, including wins over Josh Silveira, a former PFL title challenger, Impa Kasanganay, a former PFL champion, and Bellator veteran Aaron Jeffrey. And the only 2 losses that he has, dating back to May of 2022 when he beat Lyoto Machida, they're to the same man, and it was Johnny Eblen, former Bellator champion, before losing his perfect record a few weeks ago to Costello Van Steenis. And now we know that the next matchup for the champion Fabian Edwards will be the other champion. Yes, I know that's where things get confusing in the PFL. Costello Van Steenis, who has the comeback of the year locked down right now for 2025 after getting that late 5th round submission over the formerly champion and undefeated Eblen. There's not much to write home about in the heavyweight championship fight between Oleg Popov and Alexandr Romanov. There were a few moments for each guy where they had each other in danger, but for the most part they were just kind of going back and forth, and ultimately Popov will get the split decision over the course of the 25-minute bout. But it was a big 2025 for Popov because obviously he had to go 3-0 to become the champion, but also because he lost in the heavyweight championship final in 2024 to Denis Goltsov after having an incredible 2024 season and was on a 6-year, 17-fight win streak prior. Oleg is 33 years old, 22-2 overall, but of course for a heavyweight, having only finished just a little over half of his bouts with 12 out of 22 stoppages. And I'm not quite sure what could be next for him because Corey Anderson just had a big win in the heavyweight division, but as we're about to discuss, he has a fight booked in the light heavyweight division come October, which could potentially line up Corey for the 3rd champion on this night, and that is Antonio Carlos Jr. Antonio would get the 2nd round rear naked choke submission win over Sullivan Cauley after a very fun back and forth scrap where in the 1st round, Antonio Carlos Jr. would be knocked down by Cauley, but just a few seconds later as Cauley was going in for the kill, would land an up kick that would knock Cauley down. It was one of those absolutely wild fights that you knew was going to end by way of stoppage. It was just a matter of when. And that came at the 3-minute and 44-second mark of the 2nd round for shoeface Antonio Carlos Jr., the UFC veteran and 2021 PFL champion. And he is still 35, so kind of in the prime if you want to talk about light heavyweight standards. He's 19-6 overall and has finished 13 of his 19 victories by way of submission, and I do believe that he poses a very fun threat to a potential Corey Anderson matchup. But of course, Corey Anderson will have to take out Dovletsdan Yagshimuradov first, who was last year's 2024 PFL champion. So we'll see what happens on October 3rd between the aforementioned Anderson and Yagshimuradov, but whoever the winner of that is, expect them to take on Antonio Carlos Jr. at the very end of the year or in early 2026. So give me your thoughts on this PFL championship fight card down in the comments below, alongside what you made of the tournament style throughout 2025. Do you prefer this more standard tournament edition as opposed to the old set of rules that the PFL would do, where they would have the season format, and even if you lost one fight, you could potentially still find yourself making the playoffs because of the point structure? Let me know all of your thoughts and what you want to see in 2026 for the PFL season format down below. If you enjoyed this recap, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because every single week I recap the most meaningful results from every card, and heading into each weekend I break down and preview the biggest and best fights and storylines. And I also give my thoughts on MMA news and fight announcements such as that big October 3rd PFL card as well. You can also join the discussion on social media at Verbal Spar MMA on X, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as like the Facebook page Verbal Sparring MMA, and you can follow on your favorite audio listening platforms such as Spotify and Apple, where every Monday and Friday podcast episodes release there. Have a great week, and I will see you all in the next video.